breaking down the work. In cost controls, you often hear the term work breakdown structure. But here's the truth. Not every company actually uses that label. Sometimes it's called scope breakdown. Sometimes it's called cost code structures. Others see it as just the line items in a budget or the schedule activities. Sometimes you're not even the one that's breaking it down. The structure is already given to you by the time you're starting on the project. No matter what you call it, the principles are generally the same. You are just breaking down the project into smaller, trackable pieces so you can manage the scope, schedule, and money more effectively. Think of it as a hierarchy. Level 1 of this work breakdown structure is your project, the entire deliverable. For example, building a new high school. Tier 2 are those subprojects. Subprojects can be broken down into specific locations, multiple buildings inside the high school, the gym, the football field, classroom building number 1, classroom building number 2. Tier 3 can be the division cost codes, general conditions, site construction, concrete, electrical. And then you have tier 4, subtasks. So that's going to be your labor, your material, your subcontracts. Breaking down that whole entire construction project into smaller deliverable parts. Whether you're working on big projects or small projects, it helps you set a budget. It also helps drive your schedule. It defines the track of scope. This will also set you up for analytics after the project is over. So then you have a better understanding of how much you spent on your concrete or your electrical or even your project management labor. If you do not set it up right, you'll spend more time translating the data than actually managing the project. A billion line items, it's going to be really hard to manage on that level of detail if you are a general contractor and don't have any self-perform work. The opposite is also true. If you do have just 2 line items, then it's hard for you to really analyze and understand where your problems and your risks are. This is where things get a little bit messy. In the textbooks, the CSI codes, WBS structure, that every scope is neatly aligned and every change is tracked and everything is flowing in this type of order inside the WBS structure. Your estimates, your budgets, your accounting, they all perfectly align into this format. However, that's not always the case. When things go into the field, it gets really messy. Estimators may build a very highly detailed WBS structure. You may not need that level of detail on the day-to-day. How you plan the project, build it on a schedule, may not match how you're actually buying the job out. If you're a general contractor, you have your own WBS structure, but each subcontractor also has their own coding structure and how they're breaking down their project too. This is the breakdown that we'll be going through in this course. It's a very simplified breakdown for this project. I'm only going to be using a couple of divisions, but let me talk you through it. This only has 2 tiers. Tier 1 is going to be the division cost codes. General requirements, site construction, concrete, mechanical, markup and contingency. That's your highest level. Tier 2 are the tasks. I have 6 activities here. Under general requirements, I will have project management. Where it gets tricky, not everything follows the hierarchy to a T. In this example, I only have 2 things that are in the hierarchy, but then I also have a cost code category. So I'm labeling what this task is. Project management is going to be labor, sanitary facilities, material. Other categories your company or you might use, account codes. You might want to label items as direct or indirect items. You might be wanting to buy items by a procurement package. This is the specific example that I'll be using throughout the whole entire course. I'll also have this, what I'll call a budget code. That code is a unique code specific to the scope. I'll have general requirements, project management, and then labor, and it makes up this specific budget code. 110L. Each specific number equals something. It means something. Each scope item will have a unique identifier, kind of like a barcode inside a grocery store. To wrap up, WBS is an official name, but you'll hear it called many things. The breakdown, your line items, the budget code. Whatever your company or you call it, the functionality is what really matters. Is breaking your scope into smaller parts. That breakdown is the backbone of how you tracked your cost, your schedule, as well as your risk. Your project breakdown will look differently from company to company and sometimes project to project. For this class, we will be using this WBS structure. Next step is moving this to an estimate, your bid, and your budget.